Something strange happens during this cutscene in the Act 4 nod-krai arc conquest. Did you catch it? When Columbina flies, a trail of stars follows behind her. A constellation trail that only one other character in the entire game has ever been shown to have. Paimon. Now, we've heard all the theories before. Paimon is the Heavenly Principles, Paimon is one of the 4 shades, but I think it's time we dust off one of the oldest Paimon theories so far. The one that started way back when the 3 Moon Sisters were first mentioned in Moonlit Bamboo Forest. Because now, with the moons taking center stage in nod-krai, it just makes sense to talk about it. I was originally going to include it in my Luna 2 Arc Conquest analysis video, but let's just say life happened. Between getting sick and a few distractions, my progress has been delayed by a week or so. I'm so sorry, but it'll be out ASAP. In the meantime, I wanted to give you this. My take on the question that's been haunting Genshin lore for years. Is Paimon one of the moon goddesses? And if so, which one? A goddess we've already heard of, or one we haven't met yet? To intrigue you a bit, we need to talk about a tiny but incredibly important piece of lore. Something that's been driving lore enthusiasts insane for a while now. It comes from the Book of Esoteric Revelations World Quest, where you meet a Melusine named Canotila. At its core, the Book of Esoteric Revelations quest is a metaphor for forbidden knowledge and the corruption that follows its pursuit. It's a really good and short world quest series that I think you should play, even if it's just for the very beginning. Because right at the start, Canotila says something very strange about the Traveler and Paimon.
What I see, if I really must say, then I see a monster that looks like it could swallow the whole world in a single bite. But to my eyes, Paimon is just like a little rainbow balloon floating in the air, and her string seems to extend upward to somewhere above the sky itself. The term rainbow balloon is already pretty interesting on its own, especially when you think about the iridescent moon. Iridescent describes something that's color shifting or rainbow-like. In fact, in a few of Genshin's other language versions, the iridescent moon is translated more directly as the rainbow moon. And when you think about it, a moon does look a lot like a balloon hanging in the sky. But here's the strange part. It says her string seems to extend upward to somewhere above the sky itself. That's unusual. Normally, a balloon string hangs down toward the ground, but in this case, the string extends upward, as if the balloon is tied to something beyond Teyvat's false sky. To Celestia, perhaps? So, could this imply that Paimon is connected to the iridescent moon? Maybe even a fragment of it, or a familiar of the goddess that used to rule over that moon? Maybe. But this is just one clue, and I think there's more pieces of evidence to look into before jumping to conclusions. But first, a word from today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Gameloft. So what happens when Hololive production meets high-speed chaos? You get the Asphalt Legends x Hololive collaboration event, and it's absolutely insane. Don't forget the Hololive event only runs from October 16 to November 13th. So what are you waiting for? This crossover features exclusive Hololive cars, decals, and emojis inspired by your favorite talents, and you can collect them right now inside the game. Asphalt Legends is a free-to-play arcade racing game packed with massive jumps, spins, and 3 levels of nitro for pure over-the-top speed. You can play with friends across PS5, PS4, PC, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and even mobile, all using the same account. This collaboration is officially partnered with Hololive Production, and the event even got live streams from Kiara, Ollie, IRyS, and Nerissa. Go check out their VODs to see the chaos yourself. Download Asphalt Legends now and join the Hololive collaboration event, collect exclusive Hololive cars, decals, and more before it's gone. Thank you so much Gameloft for sponsoring today's video. Across many cultures, the triricetra is a symbol of the Trinity, 3 aspects forming one whole. In Celtic and Norse art, it represents earth, sea, and sky, or the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. In Christianity, it became a symbol of the Holy Trinity. But in Genshin's cosmology, the triricetra might represent the 3 moons, the eternal, iridescent, and frost moons. So inverting that symbol, like on Paimon's clothes, is kind of like inverting or reversing what that symbol represents. The triricetra usually represents balance, cycles, or upward flow. But when turned upside down, it suggests the opposite, a cycle disrupted. Chaos. What was meant to ascend now descends. In some esoteric beliefs, inversion often represents transgression or corruption, like flipping a pentagram to invoke or call demons instead of banishing them. So if the upright triricetra maybe represents the harmony of Teyvat's structure or the 3 moons, then the inverted triricetra could symbolize that system in chaos and ruin. If Paimon wears an inverted triricetra, maybe she's the result of what happens when that lunar order is destroyed. An inverted moon. In that sense, then we could theorize that Paimon is the goddess of the 4th moon that failed to rise and instead became the land of nod-krai. Or perhaps
She's the Welkin moon, the moon in Teyvat's false sky. The word Welkin means the vault of the sky or firmament. In early cosmology, the firmament was believed to be a celestial barrier, a dome that separated the heavenly waters above from the world below. In Genshin, that concept appears as the false sky, a barrier that encloses Teyvat and cuts it off from the true outer space beyond. What we see above us isn't the real sky at all, but a projection which includes a fake moon, the Welkin moon. One of the main reasons the Paimon is a moon goddess theory even started is because Paimon looks very similar to the figure shown in the Welkin moon monthly pass art. So these are the main possibilities for which moon goddess Paimon could be. She might be the Welkin moon, the fourth moon of nod-krai that failed to rise, or she could be connected to the iridescent moon. But there's another theory I've been thinking about for a long time. It started out as a crack theory, something I quickly thought about when reading the records of Joyun a couple years ago. But I feel like we have more evidence towards this theory now in nod-krai. However, take it with a huge grain of salt. Paimon actually shares a lot in common with a Seelie. Seelies are often found near puzzles or mysterious ruins, guiding players toward hidden treasure. Similarly, Paimon is our dutiful guide. She even floats like a Seelie and has a cape like one. But Seelies usually have horns, while Paimon has a crown. Hymns of the Far North and the finale of the Deep Galleries artifact set tell the story of Hyperborea, an ancient civilization near Snezhnaya. It was once home to the Frostmoon Scions before they abandoned it and moved to nod-krai. But Hyperborea is also where one of the oldest tragedies in all of Genshin took place, the fall of the angel race. You see where I'm going with this? Seelies are the devolved form of angels. They were created by the heavenly principles to act as divine envoys, guides who would lead humanity. During that time, when the heavenly principles ruled over Teyvat completely, an angel named Goitar lived deep underground beneath Hyperborea. She and her fellow angels wore elemental crowns, symbols of their divine power, but also shackles that bound them to Celestia's will. Goitar was said to be the first and fairest daughter of the heavenly principles. But one day, she met an outlander named Suter Voinen. The two fell in love against Celestia's laws. They rebelled against the heavenly principles and were punished for it. A celestial nail was cast down to destroy Hyperborea. Goitar was stripped of her name and her form, and the rest of the angels were cursed. If they ever fell in love with a mortal, they would lose both body and mind, becoming Seelies, doomed to drift forever. Now here's where it gets interesting. Goitar was the first daughter of the heavenly principles, and Paimon in demonology was the most loyal servant of Lucifer. So the theory is Paimon in her true goddess form might actually be Goitar, the fallen angel. But there's a counterpoint against this theory worth considering. When Goitar felt true love and freedom for the first time, her crown broke. So would she really still wear one now? Probably not. And that's the extent of the theory for now. Again, take it with a grain of salt. And as for what happened to Goitar afterward, well, that's a theory for another day. Because there's a chance she isn't Paimon, but something else entirely. Maybe even the Night Mother from the Pale Princess and the Six Pygmies. I've actually tried analyzing Paimon's constellation trail before, and maybe you can see it a little bit better with Columbina's. After looking closely, I found two constellations that might be in their trails, Calum and Cassiopeia. Note that Cassiopeia isn't an exact match, it's just the closest resemblance I could find. Calum is a faint constellation in the southern sky. Its name means chisel in Latin, originally called Calum Sculptorium or the sculptor's chisel. Interestingly, it sounds almost identical to Calum, the Latin word for sky or heaven, which feels fitting given Paimon's celestial theme. In Greek mythology, Cassiopeia was a queen of Ethiopia and mother to Princess Andromeda. Her tragedy begins with her pride. She boasted that either she or her daughter was more beautiful than the Nereids, the sea nymphs beloved by Poseidon. As punishment for her vanity, Cassiopeia was later placed in the heavens as a constellation, forced to circle the sky eternally. Because of the way her constellation rotates around the North Star, she spends half of each night upside down. There are countless theories about Paimon, and even though we're pretty deep into Genshin's story now, a lot of them still hold weight. And maybe that trail of stars we see isn't just tied to the moons, but the things that are under Celestia's control or things beyond the false sky. But at the end of the day, who knows? Some of this might be real, and some of it might just be clever red herrings. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you so much GameLaw for sponsoring today's video. I'm your leafy lore keeper Minsleif, and I read the Genshin Impact lore so that you don't have to.